just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
In this bulletin, police investigate death of man found outside Suva Nightclub. Stay to look after children of late Cheryl Sandhya Kumar, who died after she was allegedly set on fire. And police record incident-free Coca-Cola games. Good evening, I'm Akosita Tale and this is FBC News. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of a dead man outside a nightclub in Suva early this morning. Officers found the man, believed to be in his 20s, lying unconscious outside O'Reilly's nightclub at about 2 a.m. He was conveyed to the CWM hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police have cordoned off the area outside the nightclub and are treating the matter as a case of interest.
Investigation is currently undergoing. I cannot comment much on that. The body is now at the hospital. And investigation is currently undergoing by criminal investigation department. As I've stated, very unfortunate for us to have those such cases, but the investigation will reveal the cause of that incident last night of the body that was found unconscious in front of O'Reilly's and was taken to the hospital by the police. Unfortunately, he passed away.
The deceased was identified by family members earlier today. Minister for Women Rosie Akbar wants people to make a stand opposing violence against women. The minister's call comes after visiting the family of Cheryl Sandhya Kumar, who died after her husband allegedly poured benzene over her and set her alight. Eleanor Turangivu has the story.
3 children are now left to be cared for by their grandmother after their mother passed away in hospital a few days after she was set on fire.
In the case of these 3 children, the eldest one is in, I believe, class 3. Then you have a 3-year-old and the little boy is just over a year old or so. And the welfare for these 3 children and any children that are subjected to such circumstances is of great concern to the ministry and for me personally.
Minister for Women and Children Rosie Akbar visited the children and their grandmother, who is the guardian, at their home in Ravi Mba. They will all now be looked after by the ministry.
For the time being, we have programs in place whereby we are going to assist the guardian, which is the grandmother, and the 3 children. They will be assisted through our food vouchers and cash allowance per month. And we will continue to monitor to see whether they need additional information.
Rosie Akbar says research by the Fiji Women's Crisis Center in 2012 revealed that 64% of women living with husbands and partners experience some sort of violence. This, she says, has to stop.
It's not a new issue for Fiji, but what shocks me is the fact that there's so much awareness created and yet we have partners resorting to violence without realizing the effect it is going to have on the family. The 2 incidents over Easter weekend, which has led to 2 deaths, I think should be taken as a national tragedy.
Akbar says a lot more needs to be done in communities so that people react when they come across such circumstances. The children's father, Venkatesh Permal, is in police custody, charged with murder. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
The Ministry of Employment is holding recruitment drives outside the urban areas for its seasonal workers program with New Zealand and Australia. Eleanor Turangaivu reports only unemployed individuals will be taken in.
The Ministry of Employment is filling its ready employment pool for the Australia and New Zealand seasonal workers scheme, starting with the rural areas.
Right now, the program is focused on getting rural youth from the villages. It doesn't mean that we're going to ignore our unemployed youth in the urban centers. Hopefully, when the program works and we can send more people, then we will take them on, take them in.
Minister Georgie Conrote says there isn't a quota for each district or province, as they are taking in only those who meet the criteria.
Ideally, we'd like to put out a quota, but the reality of the situation on the ground, it's whoever comes first, gets in. And by the end of the day, if they get through our very stringent selection criteria, they're in. So there are no quotas as such, but we are mindful of the fact that we've got to be fair on everybody.
The ministry has roped in help for the recruitment drives due to its limited resources and manpower.
Right now, we are coordinating our recruiting program with the Ministry for Rural Development, Provincial Development, Maritime Provinces, and we're working very closely with other government ministries. At the village level, we're going through the district offices and the commissioners.
When New Zealand or Australian employers indicate their need for workers, the ministry pulls out those who are in the ready employment pool, as they have gone through the process and met all the requirements. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Police continue to be concerned with the increasing number of assault cases that have resulted from people behaving ruggedly while being intoxicated. Shireen Lata reports police have made arrests in this regard almost every weekend.
With thousands of people converging into the capital city yesterday, police officers from various units were deployed to ensure maximum visibility and public safety. 4 arrests of assault were made by officers monitoring the nightclubs. All involved drunk and disorderly behavior that later escalated to assault.
We are taking a zero tolerance in regards to this. So people that are trying to take the law into their own hands and would like to abuse the process that is in place, I am already given the warning that the police will come down hard on those that would like to breach the law.
Officers have been directed to strictly enforce the Minor Offence Act as well as the Liquor Act, and this is part of the ongoing weekend operations. It also involves the monitoring of nightclub hours.
Mostly monitoring working hours, opening hours of the nightclubs, and also the closing period and time allocated for shopping outlets in the city. So far so good. We have seen a lot of improvements and changes.
ICP Rusiate Tundravu says the operation will continue for another month. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
The 2015 Coca-Cola Games ended on a high note as police recorded no major incidents at the games venue with students and supporters. Police Chief of Operations ACP Rusiate Tundravu thanked all the athletes, teachers, parents and guardians and the thousands of supporters who made the 2015 Coca-Cola Athletics meet incident-free.
All contributed to the efforts on all stakeholders, especially the parents and the teachers. The various schools that we have visited, and we have noted a lot of advice that has been given by the teachers themselves, and also the behaviors of the students. It has to be congratulated, and the athletes themselves.
Tundravu says law and order was maintained even after the games. Still to come on FBC News, Malake Island to get electricity by April of next year.
Isang mula na mo chumena matagni ko ni rawon ni bibo na matagni ke misa ropo. Niya na isang mula na sero ko ni sana no chumena kino na mo rawon chumay. Tunasile. Nisang mula oyo Mr. Ben. Kela pa. Na magikira ni bibo mataka mo ni chikira mo rombo ka mena ono kene diwa na bula FM.
Great words there from Lucky Dube and Babana. Hope you enjoyed that number. Different colors just for you. On Gold FM, only the classic hits. Louise with you on the Center Show. Well, thank you so much for the sweet company. This is Alana Miles, one of my favorites, and Black Velvet for you. Hi there. Join me on the Center Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
Welcome back, this is FBC News. The people of Malake Island in Ra have been promised they will have access to electricity by April next year. The issue was raised with Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama during a Talanoa session on the island earlier this week. Savera Tamboa has the story.
Malake Island is located 25 minutes away from the mainland, outside of Rakiraki. Accessible only by boat, the island mostly relies on solar energy for power.
A few issues that the people have raised, one of which is the electrification project. We are hoping and urging the government to look into this so that we can have electricity here.
Most of the homes on the island have been completely wired, while some are incomplete.
I'm confirming now that government has allocated money for this development. There are only few months remaining. The year ends and there are plans for the completion of the works that needs to be done, and we expect that by April, the island will have access to electricity. One more month is left before year ends, and some work is expected to be done within this time till the first quarter. Come April next year, people will access to electricity.
Government has increased the budget provision for rural electrification projects to $19.5 million to cater for the extension of electricity supply, solar system installations and house wiring. Another issue raised was the completion of the Malake jetty.
For the jetty, we have looked at it. My officers who are here will now look at what can be done. There is a need to have proper steps as well. If the need arises to extend the jetty, then it will be done. If that is the case, then the work is expected to be commenced at the end of the year.
Plans for a new nursing station on the island is still being looked at. Savera Tambua, FBC News.
The DGCL Today FM Park Jam went off without a hitch at the Suva foreshore last night. It was a jam-packed show where people flocked to enjoy the free entertainment by some of the best music and dance groups in Fiji. The event was organized by Fiji Broadcasting Corporation to coincide with the end of the Coca-Cola Secondary School Athletics Meet. It's designed as a fun and safe environment for youth to spill out into the streets of the capital after the games. Performers last night included Makare Fiji and the Rako Dance Group, among others. Radio and TV personalities from FBC were also present at the event. The Fiji Scouts Association has achieved its target set for 2020, which is to increase its membership to 10,000. This was part of its national strategic plan discussed during its annual general meeting at Government House this morning. Savera Tamboa has the details.
The increase in membership has been attributed to the tremendous support from association members. Opening the AGM this morning, Chief Scout Fiji, the President, Ratuepeli Nelitikau, reminded the Scouts to maintain their responsibility to the nation.
Our gathering here this morning gives me the opportunity to express my appreciation for the support you have willingly given over the past years to maintain the high interest that Scouting enjoys in Fiji.
Part of the discussion as well was the lack of leaders in the association, and it has been noted that the association will this year identify and use these leaders to train the actual Scouts in the field, especially in schools and communities.
Your role as leaders to the youths are commended as you instill in the youths you lead these positive characteristics.
Following the AGM, there was a commissioners' conference.
They discuss the future of Scouting, what is to be done, where we lack things, and the new ideas that has come in from the world body and all those. So a lot of things are thrashed out, and this is the only time they meet and discuss things.
During the AGM, Semi Vela was elected the new vice president of the association. The rest of the office bearers retained their positions. Savera Tambua, FBC News.
Vinod Patel's subsidiary Home and Living has opened a new branch in Nosori. The company says the new facility allows people from surrounding areas to access their products without having to travel out of Nosori. Local Government Minister Praveen Bala was on hand to open the shop.
This company is also part of my achievement, what I am today. During all those days, they were there to assist me, to help me, to mold me to be a leader.
Bala was a former employee of Vinod Patel based in Ba. His designs are known for its signature handprints of island pattern and creatively merging genuine and modern designs. Our successful Fijian segment tonight features one of the country's top designers, Hapfil Hoda, who is turning heads on both the local and international fashion walkway. He incorporates traditional with Western fabrics to make his designs hold a strong sense of the Pacific and promotes the Pacifica culture. Happy, as he is affectionately known by family and friends, has had a humble beginning growing up in Kinoya in Nasinu. Born and bred in the capital, Hapfil Hoda also has German heritage and says his name is unique as the surnames of his great-great-grandfather, who was a trader who settled in Levuka. Being the second eldest of 4 children, Hapfil was brought up in a very close-knit family where education was priority.
I grew up in Kinoya where we played pani, we played, all my friends who are, older now, we never forget those humble beginnings. The neighborhood was very close-knit. We grew amongst Fijians and Indians and celebrated Diwali together. So that's why I said it's a humble beginning, because we were in the area or the suburb, which was where average income earners were and families were.
His love and passion for designing started from a very young age in primary school, as he was really artistic, and his school reports proved it. Being a late bloomer, Happy completed his education without any rewards from school. However, his love for art and his mother's constant reminder that education is important pushed him to pursue further studies.
I did my economics degree, and so I think the artistic flair had a lot of influence in it, but the actual fact, the designing started when I was in my second year doing my degree at university, which was way back in the 90s, and so that's where it started, and I started from scratch. I didn't have formal education. However, after I finished my economics degree, I did get a scholarship to RMIT, but that fell through because of the coup that happened, so our state had withdrawn all the scholarships. That didn't deter me because I persevered.
His first break into the fashion industry was in the early 90s during the Weller Awards, a charitable event where all proceeds went to Nandi Hospital. Following this, the Malhaha-led's confidence was boosted by participating in more fashion events, including his first international appearance in the Bahamas in 2008.
It was very exciting because it was judged by America's Next Top Model judges, Nikolai, and a lot of established designers from New York. So just being in the finalist was enough for me. They acknowledged my garments. The other one was the Rugby World Cup, where I was chosen to represent Fiji. So each country in the World Cup was chosen to showcase a garment, and just representing Fiji meant a lot for me. It was a very proud moment.
The hospitality and management lecturer at the University of the South Pacific says his family's strong support has enabled him to beat all odds. This is more evident with his nieces and nephews.
Growing in this environment, it'll not just they educate themselves, but they're also inspired by it, because they come up to you, oh, I want to be a fashion designer, Kimiora. So she's eager to learn, and talk about models, and they know, they pick up a lot.
Happy's definition of a successful Fijian isn't only about achievements, but more about being passionate about the work.
Somebody that has achieved and that is happy with what that they have achieved. Because it's not always about making money or making a large amount of profit. It's all about satisfaction and passionate about what you want to achieve.
The journey doesn't end here. He has more goals to achieve.
My plan is to probably have an off-site manufacturer, maybe go to China and see if I can work with other fabrics and have my print.
For now, Hapfil is preparing to grace the Fiji Fashion Week red carpet again with an exciting and surprising touch to his renowned designs, and as well as being one of the judges for FBC TV's Project Chechumon Fashion Award on July 4th. Coming up in sports, athletics, Fiji impressed by talent at Co-Games. And Fiji Airways OFC Champions League about to draw to a close.
छू छू। हे हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची इट्स हॉट।
Yoni borong tu main radio Fiji 1 totoka tunan raki na ngona ni ko ni takini ni nando pa tu main nanda ngono go me ga ben ru na ngo bin karabi na singale ni ko ni sangulo vinaka oya wana kamana langi na makia na vi mataka mai na diwa kina ruwa na vi singale bo mai na moni tikina borong buka na radio Fiji 1 nando mai biti bonga ni vi ni anu.
Welcome back, this is FBC Sports. Athletics Fiji is impressed with the talent that was on display at the 2015 Coca-Cola Games in Suva. Athletics guru Albert Miller says the domination of the winners Natambo High School and Jasper Williams High School paints a picture of the talent pool of athletes that can go on to represent the country at the regional and international level. Chalendo Dakadaka has more.
14 athletes that competed in the Coca-Cola Games over the past 2 days are part of the national extended squad to the Pacific Games in July. This included Best Male Athlete Mustafa Falls, Best Female Athlete Eunice Mbese, Natamboa High School's Mbatini Sabu Ulayata, and long distance runner Avikash Lal. Their scintillating performances for their respective schools at the ANZ Stadium has certainly improved their chances of making the final squad to the Port Moresby Games.
I'm just glad that the athletes that we've identified into either the main squad for the Pacific Games and those non-traveling definitely showed, they were a class above the rest.
One athlete who stamped his mark was dual gold medalist Inia Seeley of Suva Grammar School. Seeley has been listed on the reserve list for the Pacific Games. The Year 13 student won the 800 meters final in comprehensive fashion, beating Maris Brothers High School's Anasa Kaito, who is part of the national extended squad.
One was Inia Seeley in the 1,500 and also in the 800. I mean, he ran 155, which is the best performance in the 800 in Fiji for a number of years.
Seeley is just one of the many students that Athletics Fiji was able to pick out from the Coca-Cola Games to groom for upcoming competitions. Thailand Odakadak, FBC Sports.
The 2015 Co Games has lived up to its hype of being the biggest secondary schools competition in the region. Organizers hailed the 2-day meet a success at the end of yesterday, closing another chapter to one of the most celebrated sports events in the country.
As you can all see, the level of competition has increased. It shows the amount of talent that we have in this country. We as sponsors will continue to support such talent in ensuring that we continue to ensure that we promote active, healthy lifestyles through our sponsorship. And the athletes have come out all firing, all guns firing today over the last 2 days.
A new board of directors was elected into office yesterday during the Fiji Rugby Union annual general meeting at Novotel Hotel in Lami. The new members are Jay White, John O'Connor, Max Olsen, David Tambolnavanua, Ratu Aisia Vosailangi, and Carl Ngamoki Cameron. Ngamoki Cameron is the only director that was retained from the previous board. FRU will await a nominee from government as well as 2 from the rugby trustee to join the board. Meanwhile, the FRU netted over $500,000 at the end of the 2014 financial year. The 2015 Fiji Airways OFC Champions League will draw to an end at the ANZ Stadium later this evening when Auckland City and Team Wellington meet in the final. The 2 New Zealand teams have come through unbeaten in the pool stages, and the showdown tonight is expected to go down to the wire. Defending champions Auckland City are the favourites against Team Wellington, who, although are making their debut appearance in the competition, have several players with vast experience in the Champions League. Auckland City will take on Team Wellington in the final at 7 p.m. at the ANZ Stadium. Selected journalists from media firms in the South Pacific region are attending a one-week workshop organized by the Oceania National Olympic Committee and Pacific Islands News Association. The workshop aims to strengthen participants' knowledge on the work of the International Olympic Committee as well as ONOC. This is part of the ONOC General Assembly, which will be held in Suva from Tuesday. Participants are journalists who are likely to attend the Pacific Games in Papua New Guinea as well as the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. Generally, fine weather prevailed over the country today. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving over Rutuma and extends eastwards over to south of Samoa and to southern Cook Islands. And on to our temperature for the day, Lambasa again recorded the highest of 31 degrees, Suva with the lowest today of 28 degrees. Tomorrow, brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, fine apart from afternoon or evening showers elsewhere, cool at night. Further outlook, fine apart from brief showers of the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. And recapping our top stories, police investigate death of a man outside Suva Nightclub, stayed to look after children of late Cheryl Sandhya Kumar, who died after she was allegedly set on fire, and police record incident-free Coca-Cola games. And to our poll question this week, we are asking, would stiffer penalties for traffic offences be a deterrent for road accidents? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizensize@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's all from us tonight. I'll be back on Saturday, and until then, have a safe and productive week.
घर संसार में आपका स्वागत है। आपका अपना छोटा सा स्वर, जहाँ प्यार भरे रिश्ते पलते हैं, जहाँ हेल्थी रहने की सलाह दी जाती है, जहाँ हम आपको और भी सुंदर बनाते हैं और जहाँ स्वाद की सौगात भी है। नमस्कार, मैं हूँ पल्लवी। सोमवार से शुक्रवार 9 से 12 तक रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर घर संसार में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ।
ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना